Method 18. Look lovingly on some object. Do not go to another object. Here, in the middle of the object, the blessing. Lovingly is the key. Have you ever looked lovingly at any object? Don't be tricked by lust. When you look at something, do you want to get something out of it? Then it is lust, not love. You're just thinking about how to use it. That's not love. We touched on this a bit in Method 10 video. Love means happiness is not at all concerned. Lust means how do you get happiness out of something? Love means how to give something. In love, the other is important. Actually, there is no other or you. In lust, you are important. It's for you. Lust is aggression. Love is surrender. Pick any object. It can be a person, a tree, or anything. Some people just name trees, cars. That's a way to love objects. In fact, if you look at an object lovingly, it becomes a person to you. If you name a dog, a tree, it's a person to you. On the flip side, if you look lustfully, person becomes an object. An object can be replaced. A person cannot be replaced. That is why lust is ugly and repulsive, but love creates irreplaceable entities. So what do we do after looking at an object lovingly? Forget yourself. Look at a flower and forget yourself completely. Feel the flower. Now, let it fill with one thought. How can you help the flower to flower more? How can you make it more beautiful? You cannot do anything. It's not the point. It's just a feeling that you can immerse yourself in. The feeling of what you can do by and by. That single thought will also dissolve. The space is empty now. Now the flower becomes a person. Do not go to another object. If you're really in love, you don't sense anything else. How can you move to another object? You cannot. When you're at this, in the middle of the object, you're absent, not selfish, not thinking about your pleasure. You have forgotten yourself completely. You're centered. Suddenly, as a byproduct, the blessing comes to you. Buddha says, a prayer isn't a prayer unless you pray for others. So, if you think about others, how would you become selfless? Because when the single thought on how to make the other more loving, on how to make the other more blissful, that single thought will dissolve. Why? Because there's nothing you can do. What can you do? If you think you can do, then you're still thinking about yourself. Then it's not love. You have moved. Love is very helpless. That helplessness is the beauty. Because in that helplessness, you are surrendered. Love someone, you can feel helpless. Whatsoever you do, it's never enough. Hate someone, you can do something about it. That is why love becomes a deep meditation. Really, if you love, no other meditation technique is needed. The problem is, no one is really loving. That is why these days, husband and wife are creating hell for each other because they're trying to possess the other. Let's say you're sitting alone in the room. If someone peeps, why do you feel angry? Why do you hate peeping Tom? He's not doing anything. He's just watching you. Why is that a problem? Because he made you into an object. If you start staring at a stranger, stranger feels angry. Why? Because you made the stranger an object. That is why, unless you love someone, you cannot stare. If you stare, it's ugly. If you stare with love, it's beautiful. There's no object anymore, really. There's no other.